Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We have some big news to talk about today, and trust me, this is something you don't want to miss: inflation. It has been a major problem for years now, and even though we hear that it is cooling down, most of us are still feeling the effects. Groceries, rent, gas, everything still costs more than it did just a few years ago. And now, we have a major update coming on February 12th. That is when the Consumer Price Index report will be released, which will tell us how inflation is trending. Now, if you are thinking, another report, what does that even mean for me? I get it. But this isn't just another report. This is what determines everything from the cost of everyday goods to future social security benefits, interest rates, and even the job market. So stick with me because, by the end of this video, you will know exactly what is going on, why it matters, and what to expect in the coming months. Before we dive in, if you have not already, make sure to subscribe to Benefit Genius. We break down important financial updates, social security changes, and all the things that impact your wallet. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Alright, let's get into it. We have been dealing with inflation for nearly 4 years now. It really started picking up in early to mid-2021, and even though it has slowed down a little, it is still above the Federal Reserve's 2% target. That means prices are not just high, they are staying high. Now, when we look at this upcoming inflation report, we have to understand what it really tells us. This report is for January's inflation data, which is important because January is usually a month where spending slows down. Think about it. November and December are big spending months because of the holidays. People are buying gifts, traveling, and eating out more often. All of that increased spending usually pushes inflation up a little. But then, when January hits, people start cutting back. They are paying off holiday bills, avoiding unnecessary purchases, and sticking to a tighter budget. That is why we typically see inflation cool off a little at the beginning of the year. But here is the thing, this year might be different. There are several factors at play that could push inflation in either direction. If inflation starts rising again, it means higher prices, lower purchasing power, and possibly a bigger cost of living adjustment for Social Security beneficiaries in 2025. But if inflation slows down too much, we could see economic growth slow as well. So, will inflation go up or down? And how will it affect things like Social Security, wages, and the cost of living? Let's break it down. One of the biggest reasons we need to watch inflation closely is because it directly impacts Social Security benefits. If you're on Social Security, SSDI, SSI, or VA benefits, you probably already know about the cost of living adjustment, or COLA. Every year, the government adjusts benefits to match inflation, so retirees and people on fixed incomes can keep up with rising prices. Now, last year, early 2024, we saw inflation climbing for 3 or 4 months straight. For a while, it looked like we were on track for a pretty solid COLA for 2025. But then, somewhere around May, inflation reversed course and started dropping. And by the time they calculated the final COLA, it ended up being only 2.5%, one of the lowest in recent years. Now, a lower COLA is good in one sense because it means inflation is cooling down. But let's be honest, prices are still high, and for most people, a 2.5% increase in benefits did not do much to help with rising costs. Now, fast forward to 2024, and we have to ask, will inflation push COLA higher this time around? Well, here's how it works. The COLA is based on inflation during 3 key months: July, August, and September. Those 3 months determine the benefit increase for the following year. So, while it is still early, the inflation trend over the next few months will give us an idea of where things might be headed. But here is where it gets tricky. Inflation is not just about one number in a government report. The best way to measure inflation is by looking at what we are paying at the grocery store, the gas station, and on our monthly bills. Most of us buy the same things every single week: milk, eggs, bread, basic necessities. And if you have noticed that those prices haven't dropped, or worse, have gone up, then you already know the reality of the situation. Now, there has been a lot of talk recently about tariffs, global supply chain issues, and economic policies that could push inflation higher. Some experts say inflation is bound to rise again. Others say it will stay steady or even drop further. The truth is, no one really knows. But what we do know is that inflation affects everyone. It determines how much you pay at the store. It influences mortgage rates, credit card interest, and even job stability. And most importantly, For those on a fixed income, it determines how much money you will receive each month. So, what can we expect moving forward? Well, in the short term, this upcoming CPI report will give us a big clue about where things are headed. If inflation spikes, it could mean higher prices, higher interest rates, and more economic uncertainty. If it drops, it could signal that the economy is cooling down, but it might also mean a smaller COLA for Social Security in 2025. And here's another thing to consider: even if inflation slows down, it doesn't mean prices will go back to what they were before. Most prices are sticky, meaning they stay high even when inflation levels off. So, even though we might not see prices jumping as fast as they did in 2021 and 2022, it does not mean things will get cheaper anytime soon. That is why it is so important to stay informed. If you found this video helpful, take a second to give it a like. And if you have not yet, make sure to subscribe to Benefit Genius so you can stay updated on Social Security, inflation, and all the financial news that affects your life. Let me know in the comments, what is the biggest price increase you have noticed recently? Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.